Hello, welcome to Bio 140, Human Physiology at the San Ramon campus of Diablo Valley College. Our class has lecture from 9:30 to 11 in East 227, lab from 11:10 to 2:15 in East 238. In the before time, I used to spend an hour in lab going over the syllabus, but that's not a good use of time. So I'm posting it here. It is on this page below you, and this video is going to go over highlights. I beg you to read the whole syllabus though. So, my name is John Polis. The best way to get a hold of me is by email, jpolis@dvc.edu. On weekdays, I try to respond within 24 hours. On weekends, I'll respond Monday morning. Now, if you don't get a response, one of two things happened. First, Canvas hates me and likes to hide my messages from me. Or, more likely, two, I get about 60 emails a day. Most of them are telling me I have meetings. I really want to see your email, but sometimes it gets buried under all of my meeting requests, and you're the email that I actually want to see. So tell me in class you didn't get it so I can go back and look, or just ask me in class. I'm not ignoring you, but please let me know what happened, because the first possibility always is true as well. Now, I have 5 student contact hours set aside. These are hours that I'm basically paid to sit in a room and be there to answer questions. And unfortunately, students never come. They think they're interrupting me or I'm doing something important. No, I'm there for you. They're Monday and Wednesday before your class, either in my office or in the lecture room. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I had them before my anatomy class. I don't think this is going to be a very popular one. Or Tuesday, Thursday night on Zoom or by appointment. So these are times I'm there to answer your questions. We're also in lab for 3 hours and 5 minutes. So the rest of the syllabus, I have 13 minutes to go over. You can hot link anything from this page to get there, like COVID policy, evaluation, student success. So this is the course description and learning objectives from the outline. If you ever are applying to a program and they want a copy of the syllabus, these two things is what they're actually looking at to see what we're covering. Now, COVID policy. Slightly different from your anatomy class. Biggest one right here, do not come to class if you are symptomatic, feel sick, or were possibly exposed. I have makeup assignments. Some are my own, some are parts of labs we could actually do online. Some are from when this class was taught online for 2 years. That's my big thing. Don't come to class sick or symptomatic. I have makeups. You need to be vaccinated or have a waiver. County guidelines are now masks are optional. I encourage you to wear one. It stops transmission in case you have it and are asymptomatic but are spreading. And it stops you from being exposed. I think I had a total of 4 students who came positive, and there was no exposure or in my class. So there's no transmission in my class. So they did not give it to anybody else. So masks do work. So please wear a mask. But again, county guidelines say it's optional. Try to social distance whenever possible. Last spring, we actually did some labs outside. The chemistry teachers were so jealous. Try to social distance. If you have symptoms or positive, tell me via email. Again, don't come. I have makeups. Wipe down things when we're done. Assignments are uploaded to Mitigate, and it'll take me at least 7 days to grade tests. And this is the up-to-date COVID policy. Exactly 24 hours ago, this actually said something different. So it's kept up to date there. Our class format, lecture and lab. First 90 minutes are lecture in the lecture room. So if we look on Canvas, it says this week's module. I click on it, and there are our 2 lectures, lecture 1, lecture 2. Call them chapter 1, chapter 2. Now I'll actually finish this, it's only 10 slides. So we'll do both of these Monday, then Wednesday we finish this one, and in theory start cells. So unlike anatomy, we might have 2 chapters in one day. And when we get down here, this is actually a 2-day lecture. So some cover 2 days. We then have 3 hours and 5 minutes of lab. The labs don't always line up perfectly with the lectures. It's improved over the past 11 years, but it doesn't always line up like anatomy. And some of them, like lab 1, will take the whole lab period. Others, like lab 2, you'll be done in an hour and a half. But the catch to that is I want you to go home and actually do graphs on Excel and make a little write-up, not like formal like chemistry, but you'll have some stuff to do at home on it. Now in theory, you should pre-read the lab. And the protocol for some of the more difficult labs are under this little box here. So see where it says lab protocols for lab 1 through 5. So some of them are on here. So here's lab 1, here's part of lab 2. This is actually not lab 3. Here's another half of lab 3. So these are the protocols. So you can see it ahead of time or while you're doing it. So ask me questions in lab. Required material. We're using an online anatomy book found on LibreText. Now this is combined anatomy and physiology. I'm still going to lecture you the way we used to do it with the $150 book that Pleasant Hill uses. So the lectures don't 100% line up with the chapters in here. They do, I'll help you find them if you need to, but it might be a little bit confusing. Lab book we wrote, you do not have to have a printout of it. Some of them you don't even need to print it out. It will be found on Canvas. So in the class orientation module, hopefully you are going to go through and do all of these. There is something that says supplies, and it'll be right here. I also want to point out, since we went to the orientation, I'll go into a lot more detail on some of the stuff in the syllabus because I have 15 minutes to do this whole video on the syllabus. So here it explains a lot more detail than I did on here. And what a surprise, there's another video. There are going to be 4 tests, so you need 4 Scantrons. Now, your grade, 55% is lecture exams and lecture quizzes. 4 lecture exams, 80 multiple choice questions, 5 short response answers. There is something in the modules that explains this in more detail. There are study guides in Canvas. They're done during lecture. We actually have the short response essays. We go over them in the lab before we do it. You may only miss it if you are on a sports team, participating in a club activity, death in the family, or a medical emergency, which includes being symptomatic. It is not a big inconvenience for me if I do a makeup test. I've been teaching this class for 12 years now, 13 years. I have lots of other tests I can give you. There are 4 lecture quizzes done on Canvas. They are due 1 week after we finish the lecture on it. In reality, only the first one is 1 week. The rest are 10 days because you'd have a lab quiz, a lecture quiz, and then the online quiz in sequence. Lab exams, this is more like a 30-point test, usually about 24 questions. Again, more detail over here when you do the orientation module. Based off of the study guide, Canvas has the answers to the study guides. It'll ask you vocabulary, and it's basically just like the study guides on Canvas, except I don't pick all the questions. I pick like 5 per lab, not all 15 on the study guide. You have 3 major assignments. They're going to have due dates that are a couple weeks off when we do them. Lab 6, Lab 13, and then a pathology paper. That will be the last few labs we do. Again, there's more detail in the orientation module. The last 15% is your labs. You're going to upload all labs the next day or the next class period, except for 6 and 13. The reason I didn't make it due the day of the lab is for a lot of them, lab 2, lab 4, lab 5, you're going to have to go home, do some graphing, write a conclusion. I'm setting it due the next class period at midnight in case you have trouble doing the graphs. It happens. I have heard many swear words about Excel and doing the graphs. So I want you to try it and then, oh, I can't do it, come for help. And grading 5's perfect, 4, most of it's there. You forgot something, I'll make you redo it. 2, you're missing a lot. 1, you didn't really try. And the grades, 9 to 100A, 80 to 89B, 70 to 79C, etc. You're expected to come and stay. I can take points away if you have excessive absences, but I usually don't do that because people that have excessive absences tend not to do well in the class anyways. So coming really helps you. Please, however, stay home if you're sick, have a fever, have cough, have sore throat. I will excuse this absence, especially with a positive test. Now, if you miss 4 classes total, you can be dropped. This is the pre-COVID line. This has been added. If you're homesick with COVID or monkeypox, those days do not count. So if you're sick, just make sure I know doctor's note, positive test, and I have makeup assignments for you. Please do not come to expose others. I will be very lenient on that. Come on time and stay for the whole period. This is how to succeed. So read over it. ADA, if you fall under ADA, please tell me. They don't tell me your accommodations. I need your paperwork 72 hours before our exams. Please read academic honesty, cheating, you're copying a test or assignment, fabrication, you're making up results. Now, I might do that for some of the groups if something goes way wrong. I get to, not you. Tampering is sabotaging someone else. Do not plagiarize the papers. I will catch you. And treat all others with respect. Don't eat in the laboratory. The lab tech really doesn't like this. Please pick up after yourselves. Don't talk during exams. Oops, can you tell I copied that from anatomy? If there's something not clear, please, please, please ask me. Asking questions for help. I'm with you 6 hours in lab. Ask questions to me. I also have 5 student contact hours for you to ask questions. You can record lecture, you can record lab to your heart's content. So read with drawing. We have tutors, our awesome tutor graduated, I'm so sad. And this is our projected schedule. So remember what I said at the beginning. On the first day, we cover one entire lecture and then half of another. We finish that one, cover another one. So we don't completely cover. Then here, we're going to cover it, finish that one. So sometimes, see, just one topic, sometimes there's 2. It's just how this class was designed 20 years ago. So please read over it in more detail. And again, all this is in more detail in this orientation module. So it's been 14 minutes. My time is up. Thank you very much for your patience.